I'm a big believer in having a process for most things, including using artificial intelligence to help you develop um, programs. So, I want to give you an abbreviated version of my process, and hopefully, once you go through this and get some experience, you'll better understand why a more involved process will ultimately be your friend. And I'd also like to point out that the whole idea of just sitting down with an AI and giving it a sentence or two, uh, requesting a program, is actually what's called VIBE, VIBE programming. And it's more and more being discouraged in the workplace for a number of reasons. It tends to be inefficient. It takes more iterations or more uh, revisions of the prompt, etc., and checking the output to converge or agree on or produce, whatever word you want to use, an acceptable solution. And if you're going to be a professional programmer, if all you're going to do is take the description of what is needed that you got in an email from your boss and feed it into AI and then give him the output back or her the output back, whatever the AI says, do we really need you? I mean, your supervisor could have done that. So you need to be concentrating on how to add value to the process by being able to efficiently use AI. So let's go through an abbreviated version here of what I think a good process would be, and then um, depending on our time, we might go into something more complicated. So here's what I always start out with. I have a list of directives, and I give this to the AI before I really get started at telling it what I want. So these are the things I really like to see in every interaction I have with an AI doing programming. I want to see a version number, and you'll see that if you give the AI, say, 5 different prompts in the process of developing your program, it's going to be really to your advantage to be able to tell which version of output you're looking at. And it's also good to have the AI note what changes in functionality exist between the current version and the previous version, and add comments for all functions, classes, and other important code. Comments are actually falling out of favor because most of the time comments are out of date. They're incorrect. So basically useless. I still like to have comments for major blocks, functions, classes, etc. So you don't have to get or put a comment on every line. Number 4, give me a complete program listing for each version. Now this will work for us because our programs are going to be short. If you don't tell the AI this, what you're going to see is the AI will say, well, here, this is the 2 blocks that you need to change in your program. And then it's up to you to cut and paste, find the proper place in the original or the latest version of the program and edit it basically. Now, you're going to have to do that probably when you get a job because the code is probably going to be really long. 5, favor readability and maintainability in the code. This is something you should always do. Don't try to get cute. 6, use meaningful variable names. That should go without saying. Use named constants when possible. Again, should be obvious. and list any dependencies or required libraries. When you get into certain things like GUIs, you're probably going to have to import some functions. And then let the AI think about this and see if there's something else that you haven't thought of. Now, I give all that to the AI, and then you need to be able to provide a very precise prompt telling the AI what you need in as much detail as possible. The more detail you give, the faster you and the AI will come to a satisfactory product. So there is a cost, and right now we are not paying the full price of operating one of these large language models as far as electricity, infrastructure, data center cost, etc. So you need to get to the point where you can be as efficient as possible when these AI companies really settle down into a pricing model so they can start making money. So we want to be as precise as possible. So I'm going to start off with this prompt here. We'll see how it goes. I haven't tried this yet, so this is going to be a learning experience for me too. So my prompt is, I need a Python console app that will let me enter the name of a student, then a grade for that student to a specified student. Probably we should put another word in here. How about add additional grades to a specified student? I also need to be able to delete a student, sort all the students, search for a particular student. Now I didn't say anything in here about modifying the grades, so don't worry about that. So let's try this. Let's work through this and see what happens. Now there are several AI applications out there. This is Microsoft Copilot, and it's not the best for programming, but KCTCS seems to have an enterprise license for this. So it's never told me that I've basically run out of usage tonight and have to wait till tomorrow. You get that sometimes with ChatGPT. So let's just try this one. So first, I'm going to copy and paste this, my list of directives. So copy, and I'm going to preface this saying for the following. How about program development session? Follow these directives. Now, if I press enter right now, it's going to send this to the AI, send it to Copilot. I want to add something here, so if I do a shift enter, it does give me a new line. So now, if I right click here, paste doesn't work, but I can do a control V. Now I can edit this because this is kind of redundant. So here we go. This is going to give Copilot a list of my directives. So I'm going to click this and send it. And now I'm on the same page, we hope, with Copilot. So don't worry about this. Copilot remembers some things I'd worked on before. So now let's go back and get my first prompt. Now as prompts go, do I think this is a particularly precise prompt? Well, no, but it's not bad. It should get get me in the ballpark. So I'm going to press enter here. Now some things here I didn't say specifically that, we're going to need a menu to be able to pick out these various functions. So we're assuming that Copilot's going to figure this out. So I'm going to press enter. Now, based on my directives here, there's some things that Copilot's going to tell me in addition to the complete program listing. So, you little hint here, it takes a while for any AI to generate this code. Now this is the whole point why we're using AI. So what you want to do here is scroll down, and if you get to the bottom and it says if double underscore name double underscore double equal signs equals main, basically, that means it's done with the listing. Okay, it's got it all. So there's a couple things I want you to do here. Number one, I want you to keep up with everything here. So if you go down to the bottom and click here, you can copy the whole response and put it in some sort of document, and we can just use Word for now. So I'm going to paste that in. Now, you might want to make sure you can go back and find things. So this is going to tell us version 1. So that's probably going to tell us, that what we're looking at here. Notice it also contains the whole program listing. And it has some ideas here. We should look at this, save and load data from a file. We didn't tell it that, did we? I meant to. But we'll worry about that next time. Let's see how it works. Now here's what I want to do now. I want to go back up and get this code, just the code. And if I click here, it's going to copy the code to the clipboard. And now I'm going to go to Wing. And these are all things I've been working on. So I'm going to do a new here. And do a paste. And just kind of scroll up, and there's really nothing here that's going to be, that looks like it's been flagged as having a syntax problem. So let's run it. So I'm going to save this to my OneDrive, and I have a folder here called 144, and let's give this a name. So let's call this grades, and I'm going to put V1.0 here, and I'm going to save it. So now let's run it. So here we go. And yes, I ran this before. I didn't do anything else with it. I just ran it. So here's our choices, and notice it did generate a menu for us. Add a new student. So we don't have any students here in our app right now. So we should add a new student. So let's add a new student named Bob. Enter grade. Bob's pretty smart. We'll give him a 97. Add a new student. Jane. Enter grade. Jane's even smarter than Bob. So let's see here. Let's do a search. Jane. And sometimes you have to scroll up because your output fills this box, overfills the available area, and you can always move this up if you want to. So it found Jane, and gave me Jane's grade. Well, that's kind of proves that worked, doesn't it? Let's see here. Let's add a grade and see how it does that. Student name. That's Bob. Let's enter another grade for Bob. Bob's not as smart today as he was yesterday, so he got a 95. So now let's search for Bob and see if he has 2 grades. Yes, there we are. Now notice I'm entering integers here. Copilot has set these up as floats. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. But with the basic functionality here, we haven't tested everything. Let's try deleting a student. That's a number 3. Sorry, Jane. Now let's see, number 5 is display all students sorted. Now we only have 1 student, and I'm assuming the sort function worked. So that looks good, and Jane is no longer with us. But as you recall a while ago, Copilot said, you should have really had specified an output file. So next iteration, we're going to do that. So I'm going to exit. And I'm going to go back to the AI. And here I'm going to say, please add an output file named, let's do this, grades summer 2026, and I'm just going to make this a text file. And I'm further going to say load this file automatically upon program execution. Press enter. Now, one thing I didn't tell you a while ago is we copied the output of the AI, but it doesn't automatically include your prompt. So in this case, we should go back and, for example, here I can copy this and come back over here and insert this before version 1. And properly, we should put our directives in there too, but I'll let you worry about that. So this is the output of version 1, our first prompt. So let's come down here to the end of this. A couple of blank lines. And you really need to do a follow-up here. I don't really care about this. About the program worked well. I tested adding students, adding multiple grades, deleting students, searching for students, and sorting. I forgot to save everything to a file. Now, depending on your app, what you're doing here, you really need to have some sort of a screenshot. Now, I know it's going to be hard to do all this, but I think what we can do here is this was my entire session. Pretty sure I can highlight this and copy it and bring it over here and type the word output and paste this in, Control V. So now we know what happened as we did our testing on this version. And you never know when this might come in handy. So we've done everything we need to do on version, our first attempt. So now let's go get the output of the second. And let's make sure we're where we think we are. So this was our second prompt. So I'm going to grab it and bring it over and leave myself a little space, Control V. And like before, we've got the full output here along with some, we got the program, all the code, and we've got some notes provided by AI. So let's copy this whole thing, put it over here, paste. Notice we have a different version here. So notice we have another version here. Now we're up to 1.1. So now let's go back and get the code. So click here for the code. Go back to Wing. Now you can save this as a different file. You know, actually do a new file. And there's advantages to doing this. Paste. So this is the next version. So this is version 1.1. And when I run it, it's going to ask me to save it. So to save this, now we're up to version 1.1. I'm just going to click on that and change that to a 1. So now we can run it. So here's our menu, and I'm just assuming here that there, you notice there's no save function. So I'm assuming it's going to be saving these as we go, but I don't know because I didn't specify that, did I? So let's run through this. 1, add a new student. Bob is back. Bob got a 89. Let's add another new student, Jane. Jane is still cracking it out. She's got a 99. Let's add a third student. Let's see, how about Alice? Alice is, she's a 93. So let's add a grade to an existing student. How about Alice? Enter grade 95. So let's see, let's display all the students sorted. So here's our students, and notice they are sorted. Now, we need to see if our file is being generated. So here's the folder I'm working in, and here's a file, grade summer 2026 text. Let's open this up, and it looks like this. I'm happy with this. Notice it's entered the students in the order that I entered them. So at some point we might want to add a sort function, But that's something for another day. Now, we could add a save function here, but it's already doing that. One thing we need to do is see if it'll pick up this grades file upon execution. So let's try that. So I'm going to exit. And I'm going to run it again. So now let's just see, let's run a number 5. And sure enough, it picked them up. And it also sorted them for us. Yeah, that's nice. I think we tested most of our functionality here. And again, I should have saved this little block from the previous version. Sorry about that. But I'm going to paste, copy and paste this into my documents over here. I'll go all the way to the end. I'll put, and again, I'm sorry I missed that. It's part of my documentation. We can make some notes here. We can probably take this out. And if you're reading this, ChatGPT knows I'm a teacher, so it's remembering the context of numerous other exercises. So here, let's see, tested new version. Everything worked. And that's probably not a good way to, don't say everything worked. About all student functions worked. So the grades were automatically saved to the file. File loaded when the app was started a second time, and more detail here would be nice. So there's the basic idea. I'm saving all this in a document so I can refer back to this. One of the main functions you will be doing as a professional programmer is maintaining code, including your own. So the ability to move or go back and read this kind of documentation hopefully is going to make your life a whole lot easier. So in addition, I still think that if you're going to be a professional programmer, you're going to have you will have interviews, and to be able to say, look, I've got a process. This is how I develop programs. This is how I document programs, etc. Particularly, I think you should all consider having an online electronic portfolio where you showcase your work. And this is the kind of stuff you need to put out there. You need to stand out from other people. You're not just a vibe programmer. You have a process. You're serious about this. You test. You keep up with the output. You know what happened. So let's do this for now. And actually, I have a much more complicated version of this, but for this class, at least to get started, this will get our feet wet.